Mobile marketing in 2025. What is our industry going to look like in the future? Now, of course, to know where we're going, we have to observe where we have been. So, a slight retrospective to kick things off. 25 years of mobile transformation. We've gone from clunky devices with aerials to intelligent computers that are immersed into every single part of our lives. Mobile devices have transformed from just a tool for voice communication to multifunctional devices that enable us to engage in financial services, weather tracking, shopping, news, information sharing, and of course so much more. The year 2025. When you just say that, it sounds like a date that is so far away into the future. But when you think about it, it's just 8 years away, less 7.5 years away. And if we go back that amount of time, that's 2009, and that doesn't seem like that long a time ago. In fact, it was the year that Uber was founded, and we all know the colossal effect that company have had on technology, on society, on life, and of course, on mobile marketing. So what we can be absolutely certain of is that our industry is going to change fundamentally in the next 8 years by the time we get to 2025. Now, does the future of mobile marketing belong to smarter devices? I would argue not. I would say the future of mobile marketing belongs to smarter connections. Smarter connections to data, smarter connections to hardware, smarter connections to environment, and smarter connections to humans. You can't talk about mobile marketing in 2025 without talking about data. But to stand here and talk about nothing other than the immense breadth of actionable, targetable data we will have at our fingertips in 2025 would be a bit of a cop-out. Because we can already see the immense power being leveraged by audience data, first and third party, and how it's working in harmony with environmental data such as time and date, location, and weather conditions. And this is enabling us to execute some of the most sophisticated real-time targeting, dynamic creative optimization, and programmatic messaging. And this will, of course, continue to evolve and become more and more sophisticated in 2025. However, there is one particular element of data, one particular metric that I believe will become much more powerful, of much more significant importance to marketers in 2025. And that metric is LTV, lifetime value. Now, this is not a new metric, which is great because we certainly don't need any more acronyms in our marketing vocabulary. However, it is one that necessitates time. As years pass and more data is collected, LTV is a metric that infinitely matures. There are two main reasons why LTV is not given the same attention now as it will be in 2025. And those reasons are twofold: immediacy of results and lack of data. Immediacy of results. Mobile marketing is still, in relative terms, an embryonic marketing channel. We still need to justify our space, our spend in the greater marketing ecosystem. Therefore, mobile marketers are very focused on ROI, constantly looking to reduce our CPA costs, and the quality of an acquisition is measured over a very short space of time. And therefore, LTV rarely comes into the greater marketing mix. And of course, that is because we have a lack of data. It's only really been at best for the last 8 years, but for most people much less time than that that we have actually been collecting data that can help power and fuel intelligence in terms of LTV. But in 5 years, in 10 years, in 20 years' time, that data will have been collected and enable and empower us to make much braver, bolder decisions. A channel that we invest in now that may generate a relatively small return on investment short term may indeed become a channel that over time, over the course of a customer's relationship with our brands, actually generates the biggest ROI, tenfold, 20-fold. And this is exciting because it enables us to move into the realms of predictive analytics models. So we can start to work out what a certain profile will be worth to us longer term. And that will enable us to be able to make much wiser, much bolder, much braver investments into channels that otherwise might be ignored if you're only looking at immediate ROI. So in 2025, LTV will become a dominant metric. Mobile marketing in 2025 also belongs to smarter connections with hardware. We all know that virtual reality is being talked about far and wide. Goldman Sachs predict that the VR industry could be worth $80 billion by 2025. Now, to put that in perspective, that is equivalent to what the PC market is worth today. So as marketers, we absolutely must take note, because not only is this a huge commercial opportunity, but socially, if VR is going to integrate into our lives at such a degree, we have to look at the opportunities it presents as marketers. Now, we are not going to get to a stage in 2025 that looks like this, with everyone walking around blinded by VR headsets. However, we have to pay specific attention today to the rise in VR within the gaming sector. It is becoming more and more popular, and where eyeballs are, marketing dollars will follow. We already see playable ads on mobile phones, and that is of course because gaming is so popular on mobile. Marketers want to be where the attention is, and if we can generate and serve playable ads, then we're giving a user experience that is native to something that they are used to. And therefore, looking at the gaming market, we will without doubt start to see more and more immersive VR experiences as adverts and marketing within games. For example, you might have to test drive the new BMW to unlock the next level of a game. Or instead of an interstitial, you might get a polite knock at the door in one of your virtual worlds, and there standing is Ralph Lauren, who invites you to explore his flagship store in New York to look at his new spring-summer collection. But if we now start to look beyond just the gaming market and we start to look at the mass market, this is where things get very exciting indeed. I'm sure everyone has heard of a law known as Moore's Law, created by a chap called Gordon Moore in the 1960s, that essentially dictates that the number of transistors in a dense integrated circuit doubles approximately every 2 years. Now, it sounds very complicated, but what Moore's Law is really saying is that technology will get faster and cheaper year on year. What has been fascinating to observe for everyone is that Moore's Law has become a reality. We see it happening every day. And what's important to note is that this is not a law of physics, this is a law of economics. It's about the supply and demand chain, all about economies of scale. Now, VR will start to penetrate the mass market for sure. We can already get a Google VR headset like this for $79. And as more of our home entertainment interfaces will integrate with VR, like gaming, like Netflix, television, etc., we will all in 2025 have this relatively cheap device lying around our house. And it is at this point that marketers will get incredibly serious about the power of VR as a marketing tool. To give you an example, I'm currently looking at moving house, and this weekend I'm going to see 8 different properties in the flesh, of course. I can almost guarantee that at least 4 of those I will dismiss and know are not right for me having just walked through the door for whatever reason. If a clever estate agency could have identified the fact that I was in the market for a house, which is not difficult at all to do with retargeting, etc., and offered me virtual tours of these 8 properties within the comfort of my own home using a VR headset, then I would absolutely take them up on this, probably eliminating at least 4, saving me time. I therefore have a positive affinity with the brand or the company that has enabled this virtual view. I will probably book my physical views through them, and if I were to buy, it's very likely that they will get a sale. And also, if we refer back to our LTV, lifetime value metric, how can we combine these two notions? Well, what about if an aspirational car brand such as Aston Martin were to offer up opportunities for young gamers, the affluent people of the future, to be able to sit in and experience an Aston Martin via VR? What this will do over time is build an affinity in the hearts of these potential customers of the future, and when they reach a point in their lives where they're able to afford this Aston Martin, they will be reminded of those neural pathways that were created when they were young, experiencing these cars, and perhaps they will have built a loyal customer for life. Travel goes without saying. You can experience a place, a hotel, before you've actually been there to see if it's right for you. There are so many exciting ways that VR will be used in mobile marketing in 2025. We also have to look at augmented reality. Now, notoriously, Google failed with their glasses, but there are more players coming into the market. And again, if we start to look at mass market and integrating technology into our everyday lives, in 2025, my glasses will have the functionality of augmented reality lenses without a shadow of a doubt. Why is this useful for us as marketers, as mobile marketers in the future? I was walking to the IAB HQ for the Future Realities conference today, and when I got off the tube, I used my phone as a map. If I was able to bring up the directions on my glasses and be navigated without having to look down at my phone, that would have been fantastic, and I would have without doubt taken that opportunity. On my way there, perhaps Costa or Starbucks would have pinged me and told me that I could get 20% off my coffee, and I would be very likely to go into store. There are real practical uses for this. Let's take the example that I'm out looking for a new garment. I want to buy a new shirt. I'm in store, I find a shirt I love, and I lift it up. But I'm not sure what's going to go with it. So using my augmented reality glasses that are already on my face anyway, I can simply lift the shirt up and swipe through loads of options for jeans that will go with it, for shoes that will go with it. I can purchase it straight away, send it to the counter, and over I go. And in 2025, we will all be able to have seamless, wonderful augmented reality experiences using glasses that look no different to a normal pair of reading glasses or sunglasses. The future of mobile marketing belongs to smarter connections to environment. Take smart cities, for example. Our cities themselves are, of course, becoming smarter and smarter, and there are all sorts of things going on with technology to reduce air pollution, traffic congestion, and safety. But when it comes to marketing, we'll also see a surgence of interactive billboards that will, for example, take the cumulative scope of people within the visible vicinity of the particular board and serve up an advert that is relevant to the majority with call to actions, of course. But when looking at smart cities, I want to draw upon one particular example that excites me greatly, which refers to a company called PaveGen. PaveGen are a company who have built and developed a paving slab that when you walk on it collects kinetic energy that is used to power cities, lights, and electricity. It's used as kinetic energy, founded by an incredible entrepreneur and engineer called Lawrence Kemble Cook. And PaveGen's vision is to become the Intel inside smart cities of the future. It has so many practical purposes. In the Brazil World Cup, they laid an entire football pitch with PaveGen, and a 90-minute game of football was able to power the favelas for a weekend. This is incredibly powerful, wonderful green technology that will change smart cities in the future. How does this relate to mobile marketing? Well, Jeff Martin, who is a former Apple executive and founder of Tribal Brands, has recently joined the PaveGen board, and he is looking at developing an app that will turn our footsteps into digital currency. Now, this could be absolutely game-changing for the mobile marketing scene. Why? Because of incentives. Incentive marketing has a slightly negative connotation these days, but now we're talking about something very, very different. What about if you're incentivized to take a different route down the street, or incentivized to go into a store that used PaveGens in exchange for a discount? Or perhaps you go to a festival that's entirely covered with PaveGen slabs, and the more you dance, the more you earn off your ticket for next year. There is a world of possibilities here, and this is where we start to move past just incentive marketing and get into the realms of the gamification of life. Partnerships with virtual currency providers such as Bitcoin could revolutionize absolutely everything. And what's fascinating here, we know a big part of our heritage is in performance marketing. And in 2025, we will see a huge rise in performance marketing as everything becomes trackable, measurable, and every single interaction can be logged, tracked, and used as actionable data. Even brand marketing becomes performance marketing. So the silo that is performance could very well rise up and actually become the umbrella term that embodies all mobile marketing in 2025. Mobile marketing in the future belongs to smarter connections to human beings. In this fast-paced digital world, humans desire rich physical experiences. Everything that we've just talked about is meaningless without human experience. Sometimes today, as marketers, we are so obsessed with data, with targeting, with procurement, and with efficiencies that we forget the fact we're still marketing to humans. We are not marketing to technology, we are marketing through technology. The human at the end of the device, the human at the end of the message is still the most important thing. And if we can generate emotion in human beings and create physical, immersive experiences, then we touch upon the hearts of our audience. And this is how you build stories. This is how you build brands. This is how you optimize towards lifetime value. As Mark Adams, SVP of Vice, often talks about, currently we're in an age of unbranding, of negative resonance, where big brands will disseminate content that actually undoes all of the good things we already think about them. There are so many examples of very, very bad brand social media and marketing today. We must share honest, authentic brand stories with human beings. Telling stories, making connections, showing your brand's authenticity is where the future lies. Because as technology and data and targeting and tracking evolves, so do expectations. In 2025, we are entering an age where a dominant generation will know nothing other than the Facebook, Snapchat, open information world that we live in. You can no longer tell someone what your brand is all about, you have to show them authentically through stories and quality. So mobile marketing in 2025 will be a very different place. And it's all about smarter connections to data, to hardware, to environment, and of course, to humans. We are perfectly placed to pioneer the future.